Yo, you too, bro. It's your boy Jay Steph, man. We got a documentary for y'all. This bit is 37 minutes, so I might split this joint up. You know, your boy Skyboy gotta give everything information. He gotta give it. He gotta give us all the information. You already know how my boy Skyboy be doing, but anyway, shout out to you, Skyboy, bro. Thank you for bringing the content, man. This is his video, so if y'all want to go check bro out. Skyboy, that's who I'm getting the videos from. Go check his video out, check his channel out, sub to bro. He been showing love to the channel for a while now, and he been looking out for me. He been keeping me updated on, certain things too that he dropped, so I can react to him. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, we here, Northwest London's deadliest gang, South Killburn Estate. You already know what they be on. Hey, we finna tap in. Let my boy take it over. Enough said. Let's get it.
Today we are in South Killburn, which is a large housing estate in Killburn in the London borough of Brent. Typical of brutalist 1960s design of public housing in the United Kingdom, it is characterized by high density housing in low-rise flats and 11 concrete tower blocks.
Damn.
It was approved in 1959 and extended in 1963.
That shit do look a
This
little
scheme
wild.
was further developed in the late 1960s and early 1970s. Redevelopment occurred during the 2010s. The population is predominantly Afro-Caribbean. South Killburn has long been plagued by crime, the streets and blocks that characterize the dense sprawl of housing being the site of numerous shootings and drug trade controlled by various gangs. In the 1980s, when the war on drugs began within the northwest London area, many Yarding gang members that came to northwest London would take refuge in the borough of Brent. Areas within the borough had a spike in gang culture. When redevelopment happened on the Stonebridge estate, many gang members would move to South Killburn, which ultimately strengthened the ties between the two areas. Stephen Graham was a made man these times. Born and raised in Killburn, he spent his heydays running around northwest London, back when Stonebridge, Killburn and Church Road were all linked. He was a key figure in the criminal underworld and linked to various violent incidents, including murder, while being heavily involved in organised crime. At only 14 years old, Stephen and his mates were known as the Kick-Off Head Crew, notorious for their brutal acts of violence. The police wanted him behind bars badly. They attempted to get him on a robbery charge he didn't commit. Luckily for him, at the time of the robbery, he was at a police ID parade in Brixton, so the police effectively became his alibi. After his mother found out, she sent him back to Jamaica to keep him away from the police. In current times, Stephen Graham is an activist in the community to help stop youth violence. Now, I don't know too much about the 1990s, but what I've gathered is that there were a lot of gang members roaming the estate, some of which were real money makers. One prominent name that was infamous in the state was Venno Ranks, an individual who had a notorious reputation in the area. Another individual who went by the street name Looney was well feared. He was known for robbing and kidnapping high-profile gang members within the borough of Brent. He was also known for wearing brown shoes, and some people thought it gave him magic powers, similar to the cartoon William Wish Wellington.
Yo,
now, around the late 90s to early 2000s,
shoes giving his dude what in the fucking
make a name for
like
themselves
Mike is
in
going
the
on.
South Killburn estate. The leading figure was a gangster by the name of MG. Other members included Tex, P, E1, MK, Ryder, Gotti, Nasty, Justo, his two younger bros,
They got the picture right here. They got the club
Young
picture right
Rips,
here.
Cowboy, Miniman, Stormtrooper, Diesel, etc. Now, Tex was originally from the Stonebridge Park estate. In 2001, when Stonebridge was being gentrified, he moved to South Killburn and practically took it over, becoming a lead figure along with MG. Now, on the 15th of August 1999, at a flat at 16 Dickens House, Killburn, a man known as O'Neill Anthony Layla was shot at about 3 AM in a flat whilst attending a party, and afterwards staggered out onto the second floor balcony and tried to escape, but was chased and shot dead as he lay on the ground. Two men with their faces covered to varying degrees with only their eyes showing entered the flat and shot him in cold blood.
What
The men were seen to
fuck? Who let them in the crib? Who let these masked men in the crib? So you mean to tell me these two niggas got a bally and gloves on with a Glock, ran up in the party, saw this man, shot him, he ran out to the balcony, fell over the balcony, these niggas left the crib, went downstairs where his body is at and popped him 2 more times? Boy, it's getting spooky already, boy.
Flee afterward. It was thought that his killer had been a young black youth who may have been helped by an accomplice. O'Neal Layla was taken to Northwick Park Hospital, where his post-mortem found that he died from gunshots to the head. The police said they came up against a wall of silence during their investigations. Now, the gun that was used to kill him was later traced to a man that had previously given 16 Dickens' house as his address when he had been arrested some weeks before the murder. The man and 2 other men were arrested in relation to O'Neal Layla's murder, but they all either denied it or made no comment in interviews. It was noted that the police said that they had the intelligence that suggested that they had been in the area at the time and knew that one of them had recently been involved in an altercation with O'Neal Layla. The investigation into his murder was called Operation Power Stop. This was a common theme in South Killburn. Lots of murders went unsolved. Now, C-Biz, also known as Cowboy, was born on the 8th of October 1986. C-Biz was originally from out of town before he moved to South Killburn. He actually came from a rich family, but still managed to find himself in the streets. C-Biz went to St. Augustine School with the likes of Tyke and Justo. C-Biz spent his first years on a block out of the way.
See, and that's the, I'm sorry for pausing, that's the problem, bro. Like, you coming from a rich family, what in the world do you have to do anything with the streets? Stay your ass rich and, like, why do you want to struggle? Why do you want to have ops? I don't understand that. Stay, like, you feel me? Like, why?
Own words, I couldn't just walk up to the block like they were real life gangsters. It was crazy over there. When you're walking through, you gotta keep your head straight and make sure you look innocent and keep it moving. However, after years went by, he got familiar with them. One of the oldest, known as Armani, would also take C-Biz's girl. He learned the hard way that being hood rich attracts the females. Now, growing up in a block, C-Biz's friend had a father who would call C-Biz Cowboy. The same friend would eventually also start calling him Cowboy. One day he was playing basketball with C-Biz, where he would say, "Easy Cowboy." Armani would overhear this and think it was his name, so also started calling him it. Eventually the name Cowboy
That's how
would
he got
stick.
his nickname, okay.
After year 11, at the age of 15, the period where you're really starting to think about what you're going to pursue in life, C-Biz's age mates were searching for colleges and sixth forms to attend. It is this period where he felt disillusioned with life and led astray. He became involved in the streets. Now, there was a top boy from South Killburn, a drug dealer who had the money, woman, power and respect. He was known for flexing his big bikes and Toyota MR2.
That's not
He was
how it
the
was gonna end
center of
well.
attention on the estate. Now, one day he needed a favor. He was recently released from prison and was on an electronic tag. Despite not being confident he could do it, C-Biz agreed due to how the opportunity would benefit him in the long run. Long story short, C-Biz accomplished the task handed to him and developed a business relationship with him. Now, over time, he went through the stages of stashing money in his socks, to then having to iron the notes due to them being crumbled, to then wrapping it in foil, to finally placing it all in a shoebox. Now, one early morning before 10 p.m, C-Biz managed to make £5,000 from his dealings.
Damn.
It amazed his friend Justo to the point that he thought it must have been money he had already stacked up. Justo was convinced until the end of the day, where C-Biz made another £5,000.
Damn.
Justo helped him count up all the money at C-Biz's house. It was at this moment that Justo wanted in on the game. Now, in the 90s, South Killburn and Mozart Estate were united. There even used to be a bridge that connected both of the estates.
Oh, that's the
They were
bridge,
known as the
okay.
Mozart Mexicans. Lead figures included Double
Why
OG,
they call them so
Big
Mexicans? The
Mecca,
hell?
and Ricky Platts.
Okay.
Double OG is the father of Little Dots, G Dots, and Wu.
Oh, so that's
C.
Lil Dot's
Both
father.
estates would be making big money from their
Okay.
dealing. But when the new era, the late 90s to early 2000s, both estates would fall out due to money issues and vying for control. Now, C-Biz, along with his South Killburn goons, would have issues with the Press Road crew. After the fall of Press Road Root Diney, an individual known as Magic took over the gang as the new lead and figurehead. Press Road would start applying pressure on South Killburn. Magic led the charge and would end up robbing C-Biz for his chain. Press Road crew were taxing them and even kidnapping South Killburn members back in 2005. Now, sooner or later, South Killburn members would respond to all the violations. On the 24th of September 2006, in the early morning, allegedly, South Killburn members went to the Scala nightclub in King's Cross looking for magic.
Oh.
A KGB member, KGB standing for Kensal Green Boys, known as Paro, real name Daniel Ross, was hit in the head and he collapsed to the ground.
Damn.
As hundreds of people fled the club
Oh
by the
my
fire road.
gosh.
By the time the police arrived in response to a 999 call at around 3:45 a.m, most of the people there that night, including Daniel's friends, had left. One of the few remaining was a female stranger who stayed behind to try and help the victim.
I'm about to
Daniel was
say his
taken to
man's
hospital,
left
but
him?
was pronounced dead at 5:22 p.m. the same day.
That's
He was
wild.
22 years old. The Metropolitan Police began a murder investigation, but soon ran out of leads. To this day, the case remains unsolved,
Still
despite
unsolved.
repeated public appeals by Daniel's family. Due to this killing, South Killburn will now have intense beef with Kensal Green Boys, who sought out retribution. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Tank is the brother of Justo. Now, on the 4th of March
They look the same.
2007, Tank, real name Taino Kavuala, was in the car when he was shot multiple times by a Kensal Green Boy member
Oh my
at around
gosh.
4:15 p.m. The shooter then drove off towards Hammersmith, leaving Tank in his black Audi A3 near the junction of Harrow Road and Willesden Junction Station. Tank was pronounced dead at the scene, and his post-mortem gave the cause of death as multiple gunshot wounds.
Damn,
Despite the
boy.
police reaching out to a large number of people during the investigation, many wouldn't give a statement.
that's
Tank's
how the
death
beef
would
start.
hit South Killburn hard, especially his blood brother Justo.
Yeah, I'm about to say he probably about to ride out now. Now it's the
I had to
cycle.
create Justo because the real me already died. Do you see what I'm saying? The real me died when that happened. On that day.
Yeah.
So now when my brother dies, I completely die again.
Justo's gone.
Like it's like I've gone back to the
Emptiness.
yeah, the dark place. Full of already the rage I had. On top of that rage, it just burned the heart in a different kind of way. Like I didn't have no humanity.
Yeah.
I didn't have no humanity at all. Like, I've done shit, yeah. Some people will think that I'm an evil person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm just talking real. You know what I mean? That's why I said, humble yourself. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I've done shit that, like, you wouldn't want to sit in the same room as me, or people won't even look at me. They think you're, you know what I mean? Like, the worstest person in the whole wide world.
Yeah.
But that's
it's not weird stuff.
You know?
West Road boss Magic would be shot numerous times.
Oh, they caught
He
him.
survived the attempt on his life, but
Oh,
be
he
left
survived.
paralyzed.
he
Allegedly,
left
he was
paralyzed?
shot by C-Biz,
Damn.
motivated by Magic taking his chain, as well as the death of his friend Tank. C-Biz was a known gunman in the streets. He allegedly would shoot Church Road member Dewey, who was the older brother of Jazzy. Now, during the 2000s,
niggas is riding.
American gangbanging culture would seep into the borough of Brent. The Blood vs Crip phase would emerge with South Killburn flagging the colour blue, alongside their affiliated gangs such as Chalk Hill and Stonebridge Park. But many more gangs will join in the alliance, such as Monks Park, Ladbroke Grove, Lisson Green, and other subsets all over the borough. They rival the rest of Brent, such as St. Raph's, Kensal Green, Willesden, North Wembley, North Killburn, some parts of Harlesden, Press Road, Cricklewood, and other areas outside of the borough, such as Mozart Estate, who all flagged red. See, colour banking got so bad that people were scared to wear anything red or blue
Might I
when
say.
going out of their estates or areas,
Yeah.
even if they weren't involved. People were getting shot, stabbed, and assaulted because of red and blue clothing. This was when youth violence peaked in London.
Can't even wear
Say what you
certain
want about
colors,
the
bro.
youth of today, but the youth of the 2000s were worse. Even footballer Raheem Sterling, who grew up in St. Raph's Estate,
Word?
admitted he had to hide his football kit in case he would be targeted.
Wow.
Now, the death
I
of his
did not
brother
know that.
Tank would
Raheem
have a
Sterling.
transforming
Wow.
effect on Justo. Ricks later mentions in many interviews that Justo turned so violent to the point members of his own gang stopped dealing with him, as he was on crash out mode
Yeah,
24/7.
he was probably ready
The
to
death of
crash
Tank
out
hurt
about
Ricks
his
too,
brother, boy.
But this wasn't the first time he had lost a friend. He witnessed his friend Blugs die on Petland Road after being shot.
Shot my dog Blugs, you know.
Wow, and this is the road where he passed. Wow, RP to him, man.
See Blooks dead on the floor right here, my dog. I don't even know. You must say looking like, what the fuck we doing? Yeah, my dog died right here. Right here somewhere.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Blooks, you know.
Rest in peace to him, man.
In 2007, about 500 officers took part in an operation.
Oh, they
raiding
cracking
20
down.
addresses in the South Killburn estate.
Raids, they cracking
New
down.
Fast works naturally with your body in as little as 30
Oh, yeah, you're tripping. 37 seconds, you're definitely tripping, my boy.
Estate in Killburn.
Where we at? We are... Where we at? Did we do that already? No, we not that far. We like... Yeah, we like right here.
Cocaine and stolen items, including cars and credit cards, have also been recovered.
Wow.
Now these arrests would usher
Silencers,
in a new generation of gang
ammunition.
members in South Killburn, including the likes of
Boy.
M.O., Hurricane, Gucci, Young Tribes, Carlito and Bones. These guys had beef with HRB members from Mozart. Some of them attended St. Augustine School together and were friends but inherited the beef of their elders. In the streets, C-Biz would roll heavily with the likes
I
of
wonder if
E1
that
and Richie Boo.
that gang that did
E1
that to
being
them
from
is like
South
modern
Killburn
day
and
CGM.
Richie Boo being from Stonebridge. E1 and Richie Boo would be planning a revenge attack for the double murder of Stonebridge members Shorty and Ensman that
Damn.
happened in Tudor nightclub in 2002.
Wow.
One of the gunmen that took their friends that day was none other than Church Road member Zeno, who was the older brother of Nines. On the 25th of April 2008, Zeno and his cousin Inch went to Ike's barbershop to get their haircut. Now the barbershop was very close to the Stonebridge Park estate. E1 and Richie Boo, along with their getaway driver, would make their way to the barbershop. When they got there, Zeno was brutally shot and
this
killed
how-
while he was in
wow.
the middle of his trim. Although what Zeno did was a good 6 years ago, it's a testament to the statement that revenge has no expiry date.
Yeah, it don't
Now, police
man.
came up short in their investigations until they arrested a getaway driver who turned snitched and agreed to testify against E1 and Richie Boo.
Ooh, he's
The getaway
snitching.
driver was Aaron Bernard, who admitted driving E1 and co-accused Richie Boo from the scene and claims he had no idea that the duo were going to commit murder. Jurors heard that around a month after the killing, E1 called Mr. Bernard for a lift to Queensway Shopping Centre in Bayswater. He then said, which I took as a subliminal threat to me, if I hear that anybody's talking to the police, I'm going to get them. Now both E1 and Richie Boo were found guilty of murder and
Yep.
sentenced to a minimum term of 30 years. Now on
13?
the 21st of May 2010,
You say
in the
13?
early
I don't know.
hours, Daniel Omari Smith, a 22-year-old electrician from Paddington, London, had just picked up a takeaway meal for his family from KFC
Okay.
when he was approached by an assailant and shot in the back. Despite efforts to save him, he succumbed to his injuries at the scene. The alleged shooter was none other than Justo. His target was
Oh
Kensal
my
Greenman
gosh.
Slim, real name Stacey Theophane, a rival gang member who bore a striking resemblance to Daniel
So he
Omari
looks
Smith.
smack like him.
This was a case of mistaken
Damn,
identity.
bro.
The weapon used in Daniel's murder was also linked to other shootings in the West Midlands area. 3 men, including Justo, were later accused of shooting dead an innocent man in a botched revenge attack. Jurors heard how a YouTube video posted online with Justo, real name Kervin Kavawala, pointed to a tattoo of his dead brother, while another person raps, "This all started when my brother died. It won't end till I see another homicide."
Wow.
During the trial, Justo claimed the shooting could not have been a revenge attack, as he had always believed that the police had killed his brother. Prosecutors were unable to identify who fired the fatal shot. Now, jurors at the Old Bailey cleared Justo along with 2 others of murder after just 55 minutes deliberation.
Might as well
Wait,
eat
shop
that
in
off.
West London's.
Best brother. Yeah, the rock.
Who were arrested after large quantities of crack cocaine, heroin, cannabis, and shoebox stuffed £7,000 in cash was found. The raids effectively ended the dominance of the older collective of South Killburn members. On the 29th of September 2011,
Oh, not the teenage
named
girl,
Jessica
man.
Critchlow was shot with a shotgun all over her upper body.
How the
as
fuck
she
a
cradled
teenage
her
girl get hit
11
with a
month old
shotty,
baby.
man? What the fuck
This
y'all
was a
got
joint
going
right
on?
now.
Why? How?